Hello, 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 everybody. Thank you for your patience, just getting everything, all the techie stuff done. I'm just going to take 2 minutes just to tune into my phone while everybody's finding me at the moment, just in case if there's any questions, because this is a really powerhouse masterclass. This masterclass changes lives. This is a masterclass about the anatomy of fear that everyone should know, because it creates an awareness, and when we become more aware of ourselves, we can actually then choose a different response. Instead of reacting to our situations, we can then be proactive and respond accordingly to how we want to be. Okay, I'll just have a look-see here, just checking that everything is beautiful. Hello, 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 beautiful people. It is really nice to be here. Okay, so before we start, as I mentioned before, this class, this mini master class is called The Anatomy of Fear. So we are going to go diving into what that looks like. And I really encourage you to do some self-reflection and grab your journal, because there's good information in this masterclass. So we're going to go for about a half an hour. But before we do, let's just ground into this beautiful moment together, grounding into this magic of this moment. And we bring all of the parts of our being to our time together. So I invite you to ground your feet into the floor of the earth and to take a nice big breath in, everyone, and a slow releasing sigh out. And again, beautiful ones. So, so good. And one more time. Nice. And I invite you, if you're safe to do so, just to gently close down your eyes or to lower your gaze, and just allow yourself to become aware. Become aware to the energy in your body. Notice how you're feeling in this moment. You might feel a little bit scattered or a little bit busy. Just simply recognizing this and becoming aware of how you are. And I'm going to invite you now to intentionally take a nice big inhale, everyone. And a slow releasing exhale out. Notice your breath. Notice the sound of your breath, that gentle in sound. And the gentle out sound. And again, in and out. Becoming aware of the sounds inside your space. Just simply noticing them. Maybe noticing the bird song, or maybe noticing the gentle burr of your fan. Noticing and simply letting them go in and out of your awareness. There's no need to identify, label, just simply notice. And taking a beautiful breath in and feeling that breath in your body. Feeling the expansion in your chest and lungs. Noticing how your spine lengthens. Noticing as you exhale out how your body softens and releases. Noticing how your heart and chest expands as you inhale. And noticing the exhale. And bringing your awareness into your body. Noticing those spaces within your body where you find softness and ease and grace. And taking a big beautiful breath in, noticing that softness softness in your thoughts, and softness in your body, and softness in your heart. And taking another big, beautiful breath in, lovely ones. And just simply noticing your body right here, right now with me. Knowing everything is okay and we are in this together. And with your next gentle breath in and out, I invite you to slowly deepen your breath, feeling your body in your chair or in your bed, just simply noticing the weight of your body, noticing the coolness of your exhale on your lips, noticing the space between your eyelids. When you're ready, beautiful ones, I invite you to open up your eyes and greet this world in this moment with love and compassion. Thank you, beautiful ones, for a glorious, just to check in with ourselves, to check in with our glorious, magnificent beings, our radiant beings that we are. Okay, so if you are here, please say hello to me. Please give me a love heart. It is always nice to connect with glorious ones. And if you're watching this on the replay, please put #replay. And if you have any questions, by all means, pop in the questions. And I would really love to know how you're actually going with this, because normally when I present this in my Joyful Goddess program, and people have real epitomes. They go, oh my goodness, I know what I've been doing. I know that's me. I know that's me. And we suspend all judgment because we've all done this. We've all been all of these shadow archetypes, these shadow fear archetypes. So let me just preface where we are going today. This work that we're going to be diving deep into is based on The Anatomy of the Spirit by Caroline Myss. That is the main bulk of the work. So I'd like to recognise and acknowledge her great work. So I have some notes here, so just excuse me if I look down to them because I really want to keep on track. So there's only really two questions in life. And the questions are, is it fear or is it love? Am I responding out of fear? Am I responding out of love? And when it comes down to that, it makes choices very simple. It makes it like, okay, what am I choosing here in this moment? Where am I putting my power and my attention into more fear-based or more love-based? And all of us jump into that fear, and we have been trained to, our anatomy is feeding into that, our nervous system wires into that. So that's okay, because fear is a messenger. There's nothing wrong with fear. But if we look at it as it immobilizes us or keeps us stuck or keeps us not truly being the person we want to be, then that is an issue. So if we look at fear and we go, okay, fear, what message can you give me here? You are a messenger, so what can I learn, grow, and evolve with fear? Okay, we know with one thing with fear is that fear restricts us. Fear feels like contraction. Fear feels like it can be heavy in the body. Fear can take away our breath, especially, if we're in shock, but also not even in that severe shock, in when we're feeling those states of fight and flight, and we're moving into more of that immobilization, we will notice this because our breathing changes too. So you might find that, how we just did that gentle inflowing and outflowing, we might find that we're holding the breath a bit more. We're not breathing, and we're not breathing that deep as well. We're breathing here in the chest and we're just stopping here. And that is a real symptom of survival. We stop there in survival. Okay. Yes. And many of us avoid wanting to go into those spaces because we're scared of what we might find in the darkness. We're afraid of what we might uncover or excavate in the darkness of our fears, in the emotional chaos, in the dramas, in our illness, in our relationships, like we're fearful, going, oh no, if I find this, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is it's going to give us more awareness. And when we have more awareness, then we can respond accordingly and we can make the right actions that feel right for us. Okay. Fear also impacts on the flow of our heart. You know, many times when we have that joy in our heart, we can be more resilient, we have more well-being, we can bounce back from life. But when we feel like our heart's being cracked wide open, then it's really tricky to go, okay, let me recalibrate. Okay, so let me just give you a little bit before I go into the subtypes, what I'm talking about, just to preface it. So I want to talk about two aspects here, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So many of us may have seen the iceberg, and you see the 10% of the iceberg above the water. That is our conscious mind. So our conscious mind takes in everything. It takes in everyday impulse, conversations, news, TV shows, all of our beliefs. You know, it's like we are the sponge of the world. We're taking it all in, and we're not discerning. You know, we're just taking so many bits of information. I can't remember how many bits of information that we actually take in, but we take a lot of information coming in through the conscious mind. That is the 10%, and that's what we think our personality is on the 10%. Underneath, the other 90% is our subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind is where we hold our fears. That's where we bring in our long-term memory. That's where we bring in our cultural beliefs, our spiritual beliefs, our beliefs about our family, our beliefs about ourselves, our beliefs about our collective consciousness, you know, the shadows. So this 90% of the subconscious is where the juice is. That's what's really driving our being in this world. So our interface is that 10%, but behind it is what's really driving all of those things in there. Yes, our emotions and feelings are based in our subconscious mind, which can override the conscious mind's rationale. And during times of distress, we will find that we start reacting in a way that that's a bit unusual, because we're not in control anymore. We're responding from that real subconscious basement of protecting. A lot of our things that when we start to respond to is because we want to protect ourselves. Yeah. So in the conscious mind, we take in everything and we don't discern what we're putting in our mind, like the news, movies, songs, like conversations, traumas. We just take it all in. So the fear mind, from a spiritual perspective, ego means considering oneself to be distinctive from others. Yeah, distinctive, that this is all about me. But we know that there is a collective here, collective consciousness, a collective humanity, and we are all part of this. Fear is a messenger, and it helps us to correct and to see where our faulty thinking is going. And it's not only our thinking, it's where we place our power, it's where we place our behaviors, it's where we place ourselves in that fear response, away from our heart, joy, and love. So let me begin. There are 4 subtypes of survival archetypes. So the first one, I'll just list them up. The first one is the saboteur. The second one is the child. The third one is the victim. And the fourth one is the prostitute. And no, it's not what we think the prostitute, there's another definition of the prostitute. So the 4 subtypes of fear. And they can be overarching fears, subtypes, because you might have the over-analyzer, you might have the inner critic in there, you may have the masochistic behavior. That fits within these 4. Okay. These subtypes of fears also sit in the lower 3 chakras. So the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. Why? Because these are all about survival. These are all about our sense of our community, where we find our power, where we find our connections with others. So these are where these subtypes of fears sit in those lower 3 chakras. Okay, I'll just check to see if anybody else is here with me. I will keep going, just have a little sip of water. Okay, so let me go into the victim archetype. Now, the victim archetype is where we give our power away. We acknowledge that someone else outside of us, that we think we are the victim to them. So we acknowledge that they have more power. And it might be an authoritarian figure, it may be a boss, or it may be someone else where we give our power away to them. The victim archetype can alert you to the possibility that you are about to let yourself be victimized, whether through being passive or having inappropriate actions. The victim tells you that you are always taken advantage of, and it is always your fault. We may like to play the victim at times because it gives us positive feedback when we tell other people, and they might go, oh, poor you, or we might get pity and we might get sympathy. So there might be a whole behavioral loop in that getting attention. The goal is to recognize it and to recognize how we play out that role. We know we may not want to be victimized. No one wants to be victimized, but it's how we've learnt to be in the world and how we've learnt to deal with challenges. So let me share with you some of these questions that may help you to identify if you're being a victim. Now, let me just preface, we have all been victims, you know, all of these subtypes, you will find, you'll go, okay, yes, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. And that's okay, because this is all about us growing and claiming more power for ourselves. So these are some questions that might help you. Do I blame others for circumstances in my life? Do I spend time in self-pity? Do I envy others and envy others who always seem to get what they want out of life? Am I sitting back and being envious? Am I being jealous? Am I going, oh, they've always got that. They've got a better job. They've got better money. They've got better family, blah, blah, blah. You know, am I doing that? Do I feel victimized by others when situations don't work out the way I wanted them to? Do I tend to feel powerless than powerful? Really good questions, because if you look over a situation that you might be dealing with right now, to actually ask yourself, where am I placing my power? How am I feeling? Where am I blaming someone else? Because when we blame someone else, we're not taking self-responsibility for our actions. Okay, big stuff, isn't it? Let's keep going. The next one I really would love to talk about is called the saboteur. And the saboteur is about us self-sabotaging ourselves. And we can really find this when we start to get out of the comfort zone. So we get out of the comfort zone and we, start to up level. We start to try new things. We might make new friends. We might, challenge ourselves, put out a resume, go for a new job, and then the self-saboteur comes in. And you might find this with things that happen and you suddenly become procrastinating. And you procrastinate and you do other things that take your focus. Or you might go, oh yeah, that'll be fine, I'm not really worthy of that, and minimize yourself. That is also a form of self-sabotage. Okay, let me continue here. The self-sabotage also comes in the perfectionistic, being the perfectionistic person, and also being the procrastinator, the inner critic. The purpose of this archetype is to find ways in which you undermine yourself, how often you make plans that undermine yourself. So they take your power away. So let me just say also with each of these subtypes, there's also, so these are the shadows, the survivor, there's also the light forms. So with the saboteur light form, it's all about the fact that we have choice. Choice is here. And for the victim, we find that we have self-esteem. So to move from the victim, we build up our self-esteem. With the self-saboteur, we become aware of our choice. Okay. The saboteur fears and issues are all started with low self-esteem, and this can cause us to make choices that block our own empowerment and success. As with the victim and the prostitute, we all need to face it. The saboteur will manifest in the form of self-destructive behaviors or desire to undermine others. Okay, to become aware of the saboteur, what happens when fear overtakes me? Do I allow people to speak for me, to speak on my behalf, to use my voice, and you just agree with it? Do I let creative opportunities just pass me by? How conscious am I in the moment that I am self-sabotaging myself? Would I be able to offer others advice about how to challenge one's own saboteur? So it's really diving deep into the aspects of what we do to ourselves, you know, whether we become that procrastinator, that highly analytical person, that inner critic that just keeps us stuck, or we just aren't good enough. So the perfectionistic person that everything has to be so good, such a high level that we just won't achieve. We reach it, we're overwhelmed, and we go, you know, that in itself is a form of self-sabotage, that we keep ourselves small, stuck, and limited. Okay, the next one, which is a really great one, is the prostitute. This archetype engages lessons in the sale or negotiation of one's integrity or spirit due to the fears of physical safety or pain. So we have all sold ourselves out. Whether or not we sell out our values, our morals, our beliefs, whether or not we do that in a conversation and we just let, you know, we don't say anything, we just are quiet. Whether or not we do this in money, whether or not we sell ourselves out for money and we do a job that we really don't like because we've just got to get the money in. You know, giving away our power to something, you know, yes, money, but we're selling ourselves out. Are we selling out on our morals and our values when we see things in the world or in our reality and not say anything and actually going along with it? You know, being faced with the decision to go, no, I don't want to do that, but actually, yeah, I'm going to do that, even though it doesn't feel right for you. That is the prostitute. We prostitute ourselves, we sell our bodies or our minds for money. When we compromise ourselves, this may include in a marriage, in your work. So we sacrifice ourselves for our own happiness. Here are some questions that may help us. Have you ever sold out to people or organizations that you didn't truly believe in? Have I ever remained in a situation that offered me financial protection because of the desire for financial security? And I'm not saying this is right or wrong. These are just interesting questions to answer for ourselves. Have I ever put another person in the position of compromising him or her in order to gain power over that individual? Have I ever bought another person's loyalty or support, even in silence, in order to have my way? So really interesting, reflective questions. Okay. A little bit longer. We're going to go over a half an hour today, but I am going to try and keep it close to that time. So the last subtype is the child. And you can think, I'm not a child, that's not me. This is where we really look into ourselves. The child establishes her perceptions of life, safety, nature, loyalty, and family. Child archetypes are about dependency versus responsibility. Where we take responsibility, when we have to take responsibility that we don't want to, because we want to stay dependent. So this looks into codependency. And it is the inability to take back that self-responsibility for ourselves, to actually look into ourselves and ask, where am I giving my power away, especially in relationships where I keep myself small. So just exactly like what it's saying, the child, and then there's the parent. So we haven't, we look up, we go, oh, that person's making that decision for me. I'm still allowing someone else to guide my life, depending on someone else. That depends on how I am. And when we look into how we are being dependent, like we are when we're a child onto a parent, how we are being dependent on that personal situation versus our own essence of self-responsibility and awareness. Okay, everybody, I hope that was informative for you about the 4 subtypes. Please pop in your questions. Like this little masterclass is mind-blowing, and I really encourage you, if you've got friends that are struggling with these type of things, please feel free to share this video, this mini masterclass, because this really makes us look at ourselves. And when we do it with compassion, do it with kindness, do it with love, not with the sense of going, oh, bad me. No, to actually go, okay, I'm doing the best I can under the situation. What else can I learn? How else can fear be a messenger for me? Okay, beautiful ones. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for your time and your energy. And I wish you a beautiful day. May you always be happy. May you always be loved. And may you always have the love in your heart.